think we're going to record from now on and introduce ourselves. Yes, I see the recording is on. Okay, so as said, my name is Inge van de Ven, and I'm an associate professor of culture studies at the Department of Culture Studies, and that is TSHD, the Faculty of Humanities and Digital Sciences. And my background is in literary studies. I studied comparative literature in Utrecht, and I'm working at the intersections of literature and new media. And I was asked 1 year ago, a little bit more than 1 year ago, to think about a theme for the honors program. So far, my colleague Odile Heinders was always the coordinator, and they asked me to take over. And this is when I came up with Trust in the Information Age. And it is also because it strongly relates to my own research. I'm working on literature and attention, but also literature and reliability. So I'm also going to teach one course about unreliable narrators, and I will say a little bit more about that later in this presentation. But before I do that, there's two other people I would like to introduce to you as well, who are very important to this program. That is first the study advisor Lisbeth Blukens. Lisbeth, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Lisbeth Blukens, and I work as a study advisor for several study programs within the humanities faculty. So for the Bachelor in Culture Studies and the Master in Culture Studies, and also I'm assisting the honors program team.
Yeah, so Lisbeth is the one to turn to for all your questions about the requirements and the practical matters and your grade point average and that kind of thing. We get a lot of emails about it, and I never know the answer. So this is why it's really important that we work together. And then another person who I would like to introduce to you is Clara Daniels.
Yeah, hi, that's me. I think, well, how do I best introduce myself? I will be working as administrator here, so most fortunately, you will not have to see me ever again after this, although I might, come by the lectures and such. Currently, I'm finishing up my bachelor's in online culture, so I've actually been taught by Inge, and Lisbeth has also been my study advisor. But I'm going to have a 2-year master's in, it's a research master in linguistics and communication sciences coming up. So yeah, I'll be around. Exactly.
Yeah, Clara will also be like a contact person for more practical matters and checking in with you if everything is going smoothly. So you can always send her an email if you have questions, and the same goes for me and Lisbeth, of course. So as a coordinator, I'm in charge of like the content of the program mostly. So I think I'm going to, am I co-host, Lisbeth?
Yes, you are.
I'm going to pull up my PowerPoint if I know how to. Oh, Clara, you can immediately help me by saying how this works in Teams, because I've always used Zoom.
I think you should just share your screen.
How?
You see the button left to the
Oh, yeah,
leave
share.
button?
Oh, I have it already. Yes, it's been a while. Share. Intro-sessie. Okay.
Perfect.
And then also the no note view, is that a thing that we could do, or do I only see my notes now?
We don't see the notes, so it's fine.
Okay, for everyone who is now panicking, like the lectures will not be online and also mostly not taught by me, so don't worry. So as I said, I'm going to say a little bit more about the contents of the program and what is an honors program and for who is it intended, and also why would you want to do this. So an honors program in this case is a program that is university-wide, meaning that students and teachers come together from all different schools of our university, 5 different schools. That makes it quite unique. And we talk about a theme that is currently like a hot topic in research. So something that people are actually working on right at this moment, some of the teachers even, and that is quite relevant for several disciplines today. So you are going to take 4 courses in addition to your regular BA program. So for whom it's intended, this is, we usually say for ambitious students. It also is sometimes said that we need excellent students or very good students, and that is of course a little bit subjective. I like to say ambitious. So maybe if you're a student that doesn't shy away from a little bit of a challenge on top of your regular program. So as said, these courses are additionally to your regular program. So it's important that you feel quite confident that you can tackle whatever it is that is expected of you in the first year and think, I have some interest, I'm a little bit more broadly oriented, and I think I can take on something extra. So good to excellent students, concretely, what is meant by that as of this year is a 7.5 or higher grade average. Last year, it was a 7 grade average, and we decided to increase this demand a little bit because we got a lot of people applying, like 120. We only had 80 places. So we thought we made a selection based on motivation last year. This year, we're also going to ask you to write a short motivation, I think, but we decided to put the threshold a little higher because when you say very good to excellent students, I think a 7.5 is a little bit more appropriate for that than a 7. So this is something to bear in mind. And also, you need to have received all the credits of the first year of your BA, which is 60 ECTS, by the end of August, so when the new semester starts. Okay, that's all very fine and dandy, but why would you want to do it? So as I said, we are looking for students who are a little bit curious about what other fields are doing and what other kinds of research traditions exist while looking at a similar problem. So maybe you are curious to see, like, when you're thinking from a law perspective and you're interested in something like information, maybe you're curious to see what someone from economics would have to say about the same field, for instance. So it's very interdisciplinary, and we really invite you to think across the borders of different disciplines. That is something to bear in mind. It is a way to broaden your network, I would say. You're also a community. We do excursions together as of next year. So you will meet students from very different disciplines, and you will get to know their way of thinking as well. So it is a way to broaden your horizon. It would look really good on your CV for prospective employers, for instance. We recently got a question about that, and we do not have like very clear data about where everyone ends up, but anecdotally, I know from the former coordinator of the honors program that many students have gone on to academic careers. So there's many people who have pursued a PhD after the honors program. It is a way to kind of set yourself apart, to do something extra, but also, for instance, in the field of law or in the field of economics, it always looks really good to employers to show that you have a broad range and that you have done extra work. Then practically all the classes take place on campus, so there's not an option to take it online or in a hybrid way. The classes happen once a week for each course, and in the evening time, because this is the only way to get everyone together from all the different programs, of course. It is quite some planning also for the exams. What you can expect content-wise of the formally of these sessions is that they are quite interactive. So a little bit more interactive that you might be used to from your regular BA program, perhaps. So we expect you to really engage and to enter into discussion with people from different fields. And in practice, this really works out very well. So far, we have very motivated students who are quite vocal and active. So it's even though it's in the evening and everyone is tired, it is a quite lively scene. And we also put an emphasis on problem-based learning, which means that there's not necessarily a fixed canon of what we want you to know at the end of any of our courses. And this is so because I will talk about the theme a little bit more in a second, but because you will notice that there are vastly different perspectives on the same types of theory or the same types of phenomena. So there's never one clear answer that we just teach you. It is more problem-based learning. So it's more thinking in terms of problems and then critically engaging with them and reasoning your own way out. So we asked quite a lot of self-sufficiency in that regard. And we try to choose like a topic that is societally relevant, but also academically relevant for that. So it's a very complex problem that you look at from different angles. So you really need to like that kind of thing, I would say. And then we teach all kinds of skills as well in the meantime, like debating skills will come up, lots of collaboration and group work as well. And we do a little bit of trust building exercises in some cases as well in the context of group work, because trust is the theme of the program. Persuasion skills is something that you can study, and also conflict resolution is something that one of our teachers wants to do. So as said, there's an emphasis on critical thinking. You need a bit of self-discipline, and we try to mix it up in terms of forms of examination. So don't expect only like written exams or only papers. You get different sorts. And one really important thing that I should mention, because people keep forgetting about it, is that there are no resit options. So you need to pass the exam the first time. Otherwise, it is you don't make the course. And if you don't make all the courses, if you don't pass all the courses, then unfortunately you cannot get the certificate. So in that sense, it is also a little bit ambitious, and we put the bar a little bit high. Quite a lot of people don't make it after the first exam, I must say. Like from 80, we went to 55 people. So really don't think too lightly of that. So you have to pass all the courses. If you would not pass all the courses, or you would halfway think like this is not for me, you still get the credits for the courses that you did pass, and they will be put on your regular list of courses on your diploma, but you won't get the certificate of the honors program. And that certificate is signed by our very own Rector Magnificus, Wim van der Dong. So that is when you pass the whole program, and then we have a little ceremony. So as I already hinted at, the theme that I've chosen for this program as of last year is trust and reliability in the information age. And I will now briefly say a bit more about that. So when you think, for instance, of all the people that you have ever met and the stories they tell you and all the institutions that you rely on and the media and the sources that you consume on a daily basis, how do we even decide whom to trust? This is like a thing that comes up multiple times a day for me. Like, how do you know where to place your trust individually and also socially? So trust is really the basis of everything we do. It's the basis of our social lives. And in order to survive as a species, as individuals, but also as community, we definitely need to trust. Because most of what we know comes from what other people at some point have told us. In your case, maybe your parents or your teachers or the books that you read or the friends that you have met. Almost everything that we know, we didn't come up with individually. So we have to trust these people, and we have to think that they are competent and sincere, or in other words, reliable. But we also know that, unfortunately, trust is not always warranted. It is really all too human to manipulate and also to try to deceive other people for our own gain. So trusting and believing someone, it always entails a risk. And the question then becomes, how do we distinguish reliable from unreliable communicators or institutions? So over the course of the whole human evolution, we have developed a range of cognitive mechanisms for this to distinguish trustworthy from untrustworthy communicators. And so this is really throughout human history a very important topic, but it becomes especially urgent today in the so-called information age. Because today, as you know, we have so much more information at our disposal than ever before, but we are often deeply uncertain about the truth value of it all. And trust in traditional gatekeepers like scientists or experts or new media is in some cases waning. There are communities in which people don't trust them anymore. And falling for deception, of course, can also have very serious repercussions in those senses. But skepticism, on the other hand, or being overly untrusting, also can have serious repercussions. And we saw this, for instance, during the COVID pandemic, when public mistrust in science, in fact, became a growing concern, people choosing not to vaccinate, for instance. So a question that rises, and that fascinates me, is, are we too trusting or are we not trusting enough? And today, these topics like trust and reliability not only have become hot topics in society, in the examples I mentioned, but also very central in academic studies. And we could think of a very broad range of discipline here, including medicine and law and information studies and economics and political sciences, or media psychology, cognitive sciences, but also literary studies, my field, and philosophy. So our program, the honors program, offers an overview of state-of-the-art research on these topics from at least 4 or 5 different perspectives, from a psychological, a philosophical, media and technology, and literary studies and legal points of view. And the people who are working on these topics are also your teachers, and they are really on the forefront of doing research on these same themes. That makes it really interesting for me. So we find a great synergy between research and teaching. You're really actively learning what people are doing right at this moment at this university. So now for the remainder of the information session, I will quickly show you what courses we have on offer at the moment and briefly introduce them. And then there will be time for questions. So the first course is called You Can Trust Me, I'm a Lawyer, Cementing Trust and Trustworthiness in Law and Institutions. And you can see the teachers here on the slide. We have Professor Ronald Leenders and Esther Keimolen and Irene Camara from the law school. Maybe some of you will know them. And this course offers an ethics of technology and a legal perspective on trust in the information age. So you explore how trust is mediated, for instance, by smart objects and platforms and artificial intelligence. So you can think of chatbots and deepfakes, for instance. So you learn how to navigate those from a legal perspective. What is trust in law, basically? Then in the second semester, we have Distrust in Connected Societies, taught by Dr. Frédéric Thomas from the Communication and Cognition Department. And you will see that there is quite some overlap. Like we look at the same topic basically, but from a very different perspective, namely social and cognitive psychology and communication sciences. So in general, you can expect quite some overlap, but the perspectives make it really different. And here you ask, what is the role of trust and reliability in today's societies that are increasingly interconnected? So you will learn how to use different theoretical lenses, for instance, game theory, and you apply them to a range of very cool case studies, for instance, influencer marketing, online dating, and conspiracy theories. So that's the second semester of the first year. Well, then you've done the first year. And then in the third semester, so the first semester of the second year, you will get a choice between two classes. The regular class that you can choose is called Machine Behavior, Assessing Trust in Artificial Intelligence Systems, and it's taught by Bennett Kleinberg from TSB with guest lectures by Christian Dobre from Tyson. And in this course, you will actively work with large language models like ChatGPT in a very hands-on manner. ChatGPT, as you know, and other LLMs are becoming very sophisticated at the moment, and they are everywhere. People talk about them a lot, but they tend to function like black boxes, meaning that we don't really know what is going on inside of them, and they pose a challenge to scientists in that respect. And in this course, the teachers are teaching you to interact with these systems in a very hands-on way, using tools and methods from behavioral sciences. So you're going to really enter into dialogue with large language models as if they were other humans, so to speak, and then find out the way they work, which is a really nice and practical way of working. Alternatively, and this is an online module for the students who decide to maybe go abroad for the semester, which often happens in the third year first semester. And this is a course, Spot the Liar, Unreliable Narrators in Literature and Games. And it's taught by me and by Frank Bosman from the Theology Department. So wait a minute, I have a slide about this. So here on the slide, you see a bunch of what we call unreliable narrators. You might have heard about this term before, maybe in your high school literature classes. So unreliable narrators are people through whose eyes you experience a story, who tell a story in a book or in a movie or in a game, and they are not necessarily telling the truth. And you find out that in the course of engaging with the story, so to speak. So you might be familiar with some of these on the screen even, like the main character in Fight Club, but we also see them in video games and of course in literature. So to analyze in the course how unreliability comes about in media, like how are these effects of unreliability created and how do we detect who is lying? So we try to combine knowledge from narratology. Narratology is the literary studies subdiscipline that studies stories and storytelling. And we also use media studies for that, to look at the different affordances of the different media. So we ask, what is unreliability really? How is it different from flat out lying? But also, what is reliability as a default setting? What does it mean to tell a reliable story? And what does that look like? Like, what elements does it have? We reflect on the cognitive processes, like what happens to the reading process or the playing or viewing process when we are confronted with these liars and stories. And we also reflect, can we use this knowledge to become more resilient in the face of misinformation in general? And this year we use as case studies the novel Gone Girl and then the video game Call of Juarez. But you can also then write a paper about your own case studies. And of course, I'm really excited about this course, and this is why I'm telling this at length. And then the last course of the whole program is in the second semester, and that is a course in philosophy called Epistemologies of Trust and Vigilance in the Data Age. And that dives deeper into the conditions under which we trust. So it goes maybe even more fundamental than the courses before, asking how narratives and ideologies and myths surrounding technology shape our attitudes of trust and vigilance. So Roos Slegers and Barends de Rooij are going to teach you how practices of knowing, like the way we know the world, are always mediated by power structures. We know, for instance, that algorithms are not neutral and they transmit existing forms of injustice and bias based on gender, race, and class and those kinds of categories. So with that knowledge, you learn how to critically reflect on these topics using what is called virtue epistemology and feminist theory. So this is a very challenging and societally relevant course. I could go on and on, but for the sake of brevity, I would like to hear your questions and your responses. I only have to say that I think the registration opened today, and we already have a couple of registrations. That's very exciting. And then on August 11, it closes. So this is the time span you have to make a decision. And if you have any questions about the how of registering, Lisbeth, I think can also help you out. So I want to leave it at this and open the floor for questions. And stop sharing. Sarah, how do I stop sharing?
If you press the button stop sharing, also on the
I
right
don't have a
corner.
stop sharing button. I only have a sharing button.
Maybe you can press it again and it will give you more options. Otherwise, you could just leave it at this.
I tried that, but it's so ongezellig.
Ja, snap ik, maar...
Okay. Oh, stop. I have a stop sharing button. Okay, that was embarrassing. Thanks. Thanks for bearing with me. Does anyone have a question about the content, about the registration, about practical matters, anything I forgot to mention? Alexandra is asking, do the grades from this program affect your GPA? Super good question. I think they don't, Lisbeth, right?
That's correct.
Yay.
They do not affect your GPA, as they will be shown as additional credits achieved or other credits achieved. So it will be on top of your regular bachelor study program, but not as a part of your bachelor studies program. So it can never have a negative effect on your average grade.
Yeah, really important question. Did I see something else? How many people are in one class? Yeah, also good to mention. So last year we made a selection of 80 people for the full honors program, the first cohort, and that means that you would be in class with 80 people in the first semester, but then some people either decide not to go further or they don't make it until the second semester. So in the end, they ended up with 55, I think. So it's a bit, yeah, somewhere between 50 and 80, I would say. But there's a lot of group work as well. What specific time do classes take place? I only know it's in the evening, and I think it was 7 to 8:30, right, Lisbeth?
Yeah, 6:30, I think.
6:30 to 8:30-ish. Yeah. What do you need to put in the application besides the motivational letter? I think only, not much, Lisbeth, right?
No, basically your name, your email address, your student number, what school you're studying, the name of your bachelor program, and a brief motivation.
Okay, so this is all
But the
information
motivation
that you
only needs to be
know.
like 150 to 200 words, so it can be
Yes.
very brief.
Yeah, and this year we probably won't use it for it's more to get to know you and also get input for the program, like what do you want to study. On what day will the campus meetings be? I thought it was either Tuesday or Wednesday this year, right?
Tuesdays or Wednesdays, but it depends on what phase of the program you're in.
Yeah, but maybe for this next year, for the new, do you know the first years?
I don't know by heart.
Okay, we have to look that up, but yeah, Tuesdays or Wednesdays for sure. Yes, I did not completely understand. If you fail a course, can you still take the other ones, just not get the diploma? That is completely correct.
Yeah, and then if you fail a course, the failed course will not be shown on your grade list.
No.
But as Inge explained, you can still follow other honors program courses, but you will not get the certificate because you didn't complete the entire program.
Yeah.
But still, the courses that you complete will be mentioned on your grade list.
What is the experience of other students for the program in combination with an exchange abroad? I cannot answer this question for the current honors program with this theme, simply because we are now entering the second year. So we had no students who are doing an exchange abroad. I am currently working on preparing that online module together with Frank Bosman. And the idea is that we are recording a series of videos. You would elect that course, you go abroad, you watch the videos in your own time, because we have to deal with people from different time zones. And then we give you a list of literature to read and like 2 assignments. So there's 2 different blocks. And this makes it extremely flexible, I think. So you could do it in whatever time you want, as long as you do it while you are abroad. So this, I hope, would make it very feasible to keep following the honors program, even though you have that experience, if that makes sense. The excellence, Lisbeth, do you know anything about the excellence program? Because I have been prepared to answer this question about the outreaching program, but I don't know what the excellence program is.
It's a program from TSB, so the social sciences faculty, but that's basically all I know.
Okay, so maybe one difference would be, I think we are the only program that has teachers from all different faculties.
So I think for the excellence program, but I'm not 100% sure. I think you can only participate if you are a TSB student.
Okay.
For the excellence program, but yeah, that you would need to check that with the coordinator of the excellence program.
If the person asking it is a TSB student, then the main difference
then it shouldn't be a problem, I would say.
That this is interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary. So we can just focus on our study program and also try to make the best out of the honors program, but nothing happens in case we fail. No, nothing. You will not get penalized for trying this. And then, no, that happens a lot actually, because you cannot know for sure beforehand what will happen to you during the year and how heavy your normal teaching load is. So of course, we're not going to penalize. The only thing that happens is that you don't get the certificate and that you will get the grades that you did earn on your list. Right, Lisbeth?
Yeah. I was just looking up for the excellence program meanwhile.
Oh yeah, good.
So I'm going to share the link in our chat.
Okay, yeah. Are you now going to advertise other programs during this information session? Everyone wants to do the excellence.
No, just to mention the differences, because it seems to be only for TSB students. So
okay, thank you.
That's what I can see in the first few seconds. So
what if you have exams from your regular program overlapping with exams of the honors program? That's a really good question, because this makes our lives very hard, because we have to make sure. And now I'm looking at Clara, and she's going to help us with this year.
I knew you were.
Yeah, we have to make sure that doesn't happen, basically. So we're trying to plan the exams of the honors program outside of the regular exams week for all the different schools, and we have to find a date that no one else has an exam, basically, or at least not at the same time. So there's a trick, but we try our best to accommodate that. And also, not every course has an exam, so we try to mix it up in terms of assignments, as I said. How is the distribution of students from the different faculties? Oh, do you remember, Lisbeth? Because we have an answer to this question, but it's a while ago that we looked it up.
The biggest group, I think, was from the law school.
Yeah,
and then Tysem and our faculty, so TSHD, was more or less the same, even though Tysem, of course, is a much bigger school. Yeah. And then for TSB, we only had maybe 5 or 6 students.
Okay, so we want to actively encourage TSB students to apply and not go to the excellence program. Yeah, that was it. Many people from the law school. How is the distribution of students from the different faculty? Oh, yeah, this is what I just said. Is it possible to quit the program if you decide? Yeah, absolutely, Caroline. You can quit the program at any time, and you don't have to give us a reason, and it's very easy to do so. And then the thing happened that I said before, where you get the grades that you earned. Any resets for the exams? Yes. So as I said before, people tend to not listen when I say that there are no resets for the exams, and not all courses are ending with an exam. So unfortunately, we have to put the bar a little bit high, and also because of the whole planning complexity of it all, you do a pass or fail exam, so you cannot retake it. Also because this would be a lot of work for the teachers. And not all courses are ending with an exam in the sense of a written exam. You can also have group work in some cases or a paper, or so it's different for every course basically. The students, how are they selected? That's a good question, because last year we really weren't prepared for the overwhelming number of applicants. We were very pleased by that, but we hadn't thought of it beforehand. So then we made a selection based on the motivation. So the people who had the obviously well thought about why they wanted to do it. In this case, what do we do, Lisbeth, when we have too many people with a 7.5 GPA
I think
or
this
higher?
year we expect to have less applications because we increased the entry requirement when it comes to the average grade. In case we have too many applicants, then I think we will look for average grade and motivation, and then make a waiting list for a number of people that's maybe outside the first, I don't know, 50, 60 people. How many are we going to select? And then the ones that get awarded a place, we will ask them to confirm this place. So it can also happen that somebody says, I do not want to take the place after all. And then the first one on the waiting list will get this place offered, of course. So
this seems fair. And last year that actually happened, that at least 10 people from the waiting list got their spot eventually because other people were, decided not to do it.
So in the end, I don't think we had many students that we needed to
disappoint.
Yeah, last year.
No,
maybe 15.
Okay.
15, something like that.
And then I think this also answers Gaia's question about only people with the highest grade or the motivation ladder. Lisbeth just made the decision that both count, and I think that would be the fairest. Yeah, that would be the most fair. So there's the excellence program. How does it compare to the outreaching honors one? I know this one because I talked to the people of the outreaching program. It is definitely not nonsensical to try and do both. It is a little bit time consuming, so it depends on what else you have to do and how easy you find your regular program. But the outreaching is totally different. You don't get any courses. It is more activity based. So you are very free to engage in a whole range of different activities, and they have budget for that, and it's more of a community building thing. And this is why I think it would be very nice to combine with the honors program, because we are more content related and more research based, teaching related. So I don't think you necessarily need to choose. And the outreaching honors program is for everyone, so there's no requirements at all for that. I'm still waiting on some grades. Can I apply already, or should I wait until I have everything in case my average drops? Ooh, this is a you question, Lisbeth.
Yeah, in case you do not have the 60 credits by the application deadline, so the 11th of August, you need to have the 60 credits by the end of August. So then it's just a matter of time until we can offer you a place or not offer you a place. So, but it will not decrease your chances of getting selected. So we do hope that by mid-August, all applicants will have all grades, so that we know the average, and also that everyone has the 60 grades that we require. If that's not the case, we just need to see in the last 2 weeks of August, and until the last results are available. Because we have until the 31st of August to wait for the results. So we will use the time if it's needed.
Okay, so make sure if everything is in, then you'll be fine. The distribution of international students participating compared to Dutch. I think we have way more international students than
Yeah.
Dutch students right now. Yeah, I don't have any exact numbers for you, but it seems to be a very popular program for international students. So also a nice way to meet people from different countries. The average study load, I don't have any hard data on that as well. I think it is supposed to be a regular BA course every course. So we do keep tabs on that, of course, and make sure that it's not too overwhelming. Expect a lot of reading, I would say. Like the teachers really like to give you a lot of literature, but we never, it never goes over like the number of hours of preparation for your regular BA courses. And if so, you should complain to us.
So it should, per course, it should be comparable to a 6 ECTS course.
Yeah. So we have rules about that, and all
Yeah.
teachers need to adhere to those anyway. If your grades drop to below a 7.5 in the following years, you can still participate, definitely. We're not going to follow you for the rest of your academic career and calculate all your grades. It's only at the beginning that you need the 7.5. Attendance of every class is mandatory. Oh, that's a really good question, and also a bit tricky question for me, because in the past we have said that it was. Special circumstances barring, of course, that is really hard to maintain because of it's a 2-year program and 4 courses, and everyone will of course be sick at least once and have some other thing. So we do keep tabs on attendance. We have a list that circulates and everything. And if you drop below a certain number, I think it was 3 classes missed in the first course. I don't know if I should be saying this because I'm already
think it's
putting the bar
2.
differently.
I think it's 2
Okay, so you can miss 2 for each
per
class?
course.
Per course, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think that's what it is.
and I think if otherwise, please contact your teacher and explain what is happening and try to find a solution, because also it sounds so strict. But yeah, 2 per course. It would also be really hard to pass the course, I think, if you miss more, especially in the first law course, which was quite hard. How many weeks is also the regular amount of, what is that, Lisbeth, 8?
I think it's 10.
12? Okay, 10. In the meantime, waiting for new questions, I did mention that there would be an excursion as of next year with all the honors program students, so meaning the first and second year cohort. So you will also get to meet the current students then. We were thinking of maybe going to the parliament in Brussels, but we are also open to suggestions if you have nice ideas. It has to be related to the theme of trust. And then there will be a kick-off event at the beginning of September, I think, when also the first class will happen, and then you're all invited to that, and we will have drinks and some like nice activity or a talk. And these first year students, then second year, will also be there, so you get to meet them there as well. So it would be nice if you can build a little community in addition to attending classes together. I don't see any new questions coming in right now. When is the plan to have the excursion? I was thinking maybe March, but it's not set in stone yet. We have to, for that as well, try to find a time and place where most people will be able to attend, of course, which is always a little bit tricky. We're also talking to the people from the outreaching program to maybe do it combined with them. So I will keep you posted. The lectures are not recorded. No. Do we already have a Canvas page for the overarching program, Lisbeth?
Not yet, but I think we are going to create this summer. So.
Okay. Yeah, there will be a Canvas page for the overarching project this summer, and of course the individual courses all have one. Yeah, that's a tricky one. Lisbeth, meanwhile, do you know more about the excellence program?
Not that much. It seems that they have quite a high entry requirement. I mean, they have the same average grade, so 7.5, but they only have 25 places per year. So the number of places is quite low.
Okay. Yeah, so the smaller scale.
Yeah,
But is it combinable?
they seem to have 2 courses per year as well. So I assume it's the same study load comparable to our honors program, but I'm not sure.
Seems like a lot on top of your regular study program to have
Yes.
4 extra courses a year, but so yeah, if there's no more questions, I think we can wrap it up for now. And on the slides, are you going to share the slides, Lisbeth, or is there a way for us to do it? And also the recording?
The recording, I will save that one, but I'm not sure how we can easily share the recording, because I'm not sure if I can see who exactly attended our session just now.
No, but that's because these people attended it anyway, so they don't
Yeah.
need to recording. We can stop recording, by the way.
Yeah, I was doing so.